under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a seat. Roll call.
Nikki,
Here.
Sarah,
Here.
Phillips,
Here.
Mike,
Here.
John,
Here.
Paige,
Here.
Lemmings,
Here.
Bass.
Here.
On agenda items, we have one additional ordinance that we need to approve to be discussed and approved tonight. Do I hear a motion to add that to the agenda?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the other agenda item. Is there any other item that needs to be added to the agenda? Okay. Any more discussion? Roll call vote to approve the agenda.
Nikki,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Paige,
Yes.
Lemmings,
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
I entertain a motion to approve the minutes and financials.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes and financials. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I have no comments. Are there any elected officials or county department heads that would like to approach the court? Or court, do you have any questions for any of the department heads that are here?
I did want to announce that the next budget meeting is set for Monday, October 28th at 6 p.m. The agenda will go out later, but I will say that the insurance plans will be presented at that meeting. So all the possibilities will be presented at that meeting.
And we have a person with us who has already won their election for the January Quorum Court. So whenever the other people won, we went ahead and brought them up to the table. So if you would like to come up to the table, we have an empty seat if you'd like to join us. And you're welcome to join in the discussion or ask any questions.
Oh, it's fine either way. I'm good here.
Okay, that's fine. We welcome you aboard. That takes us up to new business, and our first ordinance is sponsored by Mike Bradford.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an emergency ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to repeal and replace ordinance 1996-21 to declare an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas ordinance 1996-21 authorized the collection of a 1 mil voluntary tax on real and personal property with 1/2 mil to support the Van Buren County Conservation District and 1/2 mil to support the Van Buren County Recycling Center. And whereas the Van Buren County Recycling Center can function without the voluntary tax, and whereas there is a need to repeal and replace the original ordinance to cease collection of the voluntary tax for the Van Buren County Recycling Center. Now, therefore, it be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that 1. Ordinance 1996-21 is hereby repealed and replaced as set forth herein. 2. There is hereby established a 1/2 mil voluntary tax on real and personal property of Van Buren County. 3. The voluntary revenue created by the voluntary 1/2 mil tax shall be placed by the Van Buren County Treasurer in a special fund designated solely for the Van Buren County Conservation District budget as appropriated by the Van Buren County Quorum Court. In preparing the tax statement, the Van Buren County Collector shall compute the 1/2 mil tax, and the amount of the voluntary tax shall be listed as a separate item and added to the total bill only at the request of the taxpayer. For the 2024 taxes collected in 2025 and all following years thereafter, the tax statement will reflect a box to be checked by the taxpayer before the voluntary tax is added on. And 5, emergency clause that is imperative for county operations to continue smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Therefore, this ordinance being necessary for the protection and preservation of public health and safety, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be enforced and shall take effect upon passage and publication. I move we approve this ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance, and I will start the discussion with just a little bit of clarification. The original ordinance, 1996-21, it declared 2 voluntary taxes, one for the Van Buren County Recycling Center and one for soil conservation. And we don't need the recycling center tax. Back in 1996, the recycling center was a voluntary operation, and I think we basically just got used to receiving that money, and we never even questioned it. And we're already a county function. It's freestanding. It's generating its own revenues. So what this ordinance does, it's very clean because it reestablishes the soil conservation voluntary tax but removes the recycling tax. So it's kind of nice after 28, 29 years that we get to remove the request for a tax. You know, you have to ask for it.
So what will the taxpayer be check marking? The difference of what?
It's the same as your tax statements now. It just will not include the
Okay.
recycling center.
So the half that was for the recycling center, if they put down volunteer tax, there'll just be half for the soil conservation district only, or okay.
Soil conservation will appear as a choice, an option. There are 3. There were 4. There will be the soil conservation, the library, and the Van Buren County Aging Program.
Okay, got you.
Any other discussion or questions? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
O 2024-35.
You know, that's really monumental. Thank you, guys. I think you've done something really big. Our next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Becky Page.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to transfer and appropriate $461.07 into the circuit clerk budget number 1000-102-3009, other professional services from the circuit clerk's recorders cost fund number 3006-102-3009 to replace monies and correct miscoding of a bill. Whereas a bill was submitted and coded from the county general to pay Superior Heating and Air for repairs at the courthouse, and whereas the bill should have been coded from the circuit clerk's recorder's cost fund. Now for be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $461.07 be transferred and appropriated into the circuit clerk's budget number 1000-102-3009, other professional services from the circuit clerk's recorder's cost fund number 3006-102-3009. I move we accept this.
Second.
We have a motion and a couple of seconds to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
O 2024-36.
Thank you. And I know this is out of order, but I forgot to do something on the first ordinance. There was an emergency clause on that ordinance, and I like to get it into the minutes that we acknowledge that emergency clause and that we accept it. That one, we have a time deadline because at the next Quorum Court meeting, you guys will be setting taxes for the next year. So it was imperative to go ahead and get that ran this month. So do I hear a motion to approve that emergency clause?
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to acknowledge that emergency clause. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Our next one is also an emergency ordinance sponsored by Nikki Brown.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an emergency ordinance to be entitled, an emergency ordinance to authorize the sale of county property to the City of Clinton to declare an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas the Van Buren County purchased a new building for the Deputy Prosecutor Office, and whereas the old office building is currently vacant and is not being used by the county, and whereas the City of Clinton would like to purchase the property, and whereas the City of Clinton has hired a professional appraisal of the property to determine an accurate value of the property, and whereas Arkansas Code annotated 14-16-116 gives specific instructions for a transaction of this type. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that 1. The Van Buren County Judge is authorized to sell the property located at 193 Port Street, Clinton, Arkansas, which formerly housed the Deputy Prosecutor's Office, to the City of Clinton for the appraised value of $44,000. 2. The property shall be sold as is. 3. Upon the close of the sale, the county judge is hereby directed to remove the property from the county's fixed capital asset listing. Emergency clause. It is imperative for county operations to continue smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Therefore, this ordinance being necessary for the protection and preservation of public health and safety, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in force and take effect upon passage and publication. I move we approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion?
Where's this property? Is that the one on the west side of courthouse? That old one on the corner?
Yes, it's the old bank.
Yeah.
Still has the vault in it. The city of Clinton that's really an asset to them to have that old vault. If we were going to remodel it or do anything with it, we would have to remove the old vault, and it'd be very expensive. So we actually got a cost by an architect to remodel that building for when we had ARP money, and it was much more cost effective to purchase another property and move. It was going to cost, what was it, Nikki, $250,000 to renovate that property?
But yeah, it was a crate, and it was only 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
So is that the one that you purchased Ralph Blagg's for prosecuting attorney? Okay.
Yes. It's the ugliest property on the courthouse square.
Yeah. I went down there and looked at it. It's in pretty rough shape.
It is. That's my opinion. Not to be taken as fact. Any further discussion?
I said this at the budget meeting. I think it's great to keep it in the county with a county entity, even though they're city, but they're in the county. And the vault, they expressed that they want to use that for evidence, so that's perfect.
Good deal. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Paige,
Yes.
Lemmings,
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2024-37.
Thank you.
Want to do the emergency clause on that one?
Thank you. I was going to forget that again. Thank you for reminding me. Do I hear a motion to acknowledge and approve the emergency clause on that ordinance?
Second.
Have motion and a second to acknowledge and approve the emergency clause. Any discussion? All in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Virgil, you have our next ordinance.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, appropriation ordinance to be entitled, appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance 02023-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, to increase revenues and appropriate $1,152.32 into the District Court Automation Fund, number 3003-409. Whereas monies have been received from the Arkansas State Police for DWI Court, and whereas the money will need to be appropriated into the line items listed below. Now therefore be ordained by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, Arkansas, that Section 1, $323.80 be appropriated into line item number 3003-409-3101, training and education, and $828.52 be appropriated into line item 3003-409-3094, meals and lodging, for the District Court Automation Fund. I move that we approve it as written.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Discussion. Roll call vote.
Nikki,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Paige,
Yes.
Lemmings,
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2024-38.
Thank you. John, you're next.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to transfer and appropriate $23.94 into the Collectors Automation Fund 3001-104 from the voter registration budget 1000-121 to reimburse for postage. Whereas some absentee ballots that were mailed out had been ran through the collector's postage machine, and whereas this ordinance is to refund the cost of postage for these ballots. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $23.94 be transferred and appropriated into the Collectors Automation Fund 3001-104-3021, postage from the voter registration budget 1000-121-3021. I move this ordinance be approved as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a couple of seconds to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John? Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
O 2024-39.
Thank you. Esther, you're next.
Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 2023-54, the annual operating budget for 2024 to increase revenues and appropriate $3,034.59 into the voter registration budget number 1,121 and $18,480.14 into the Election Commission budget number 1,109. Whereas Van Buren County has received a reimbursement check, $21,514.73 from the State of Board Election Commissioners for the 2024 primary election, and whereas this money will need to be appropriated back into the budgets that it was paid from. Now therefore be it ordained by the Van Buren County, by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $1,771.46 be appropriated to the voter registration budget number 1000-121-1002, salaries part-time, $111.67 into number 1000-121-1006, Social Security, $977.46 into number 1021-2001, General Supplies, and $174 into number 121-3021, Postage, totaling $3,034.59. And Section 2, $7,000 be appropriated into the Election Commission budget number 1109-1002, salaries part-time, $1,000 into line item 1000-109-2001, general supplies, and $10,480.14 into line item number 1000-109-3009, other professional services, totaling $18,480.14. I move for its adoption.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
O 2024-40.
Thank you. Virgil, you get to go twice tonight.
Yeah. Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, appropriation orders to be entitled, appropriation ordinance to appropriate $4,115.41 into the Sheriff's Office budget number 1,400-2006, clothing and uniforms. Whereas the money was appropriated into the Sheriff's Office budget in 2023, and the check had been issued on 8/18/23 to pay for the bill from Umbrella Security Solutions Corp. And whereas the money issued was not cash due to the company going out of business and has voided and has been voided by the county clerk, by the county treasurer in 2024 after the county clerk closed the 2023 budgets. And whereas the monies will need to be reappropriated into the sheriff's budget to purchase the intended items that have been appropriated for. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $4,115.41 be appropriated into the Sheriff's Office budget, number 1,400-2006, clothing and uniforms. I move that we approve it as written.
We have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion?
Why is there always such a question on these uniforms? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we put about 5,000 in that in the budget last year. And then we transferred about 5,000 over to uniforms out of the ARP money.
Well, this was money that y'all had appropriated, and it was paid out, but I think the company went out of business. So,
Would you care to come up here to the, yeah.
When it was first approached to me, is my understanding they were checking because they thought that we did not pay them for uniforms that we received. If that was my understanding when I talked to the sheriff's department. We did write the check, but they didn't cash it for 6 months. But it was my understanding that the products were received. So, and they give us a credit, is that right?
We were gonna get the credit, but when they asked for proof of payment, that's when we found out. We never knew the check wasn't cashed. We just assumed it was. Well, that's when I found out that it wasn't cashed, is when they wanted that proof of payment so we could get that credit. That's when we found out. But no, there was probably about $10,000 worth of stuff that we did not receive.
So you didn't receive the products?
No.
Okay.
Well, this is coming out 2023 budget.
Well, mine, just from reading that, I don't have any background information, but from the ordinance, it looks like we did appropriate it for them. The company didn't cash the check. So basically, when that voided, that money came back to us because it never went out. Does that make sense? So we never, we said they could spend it, but they didn't actually get to spend it. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. So
It's not additional monies being appropriated. It's already been appropriated. It's just
it just never got paid out. And it fell weird. So, if took me a long time to understand that if you appropriate something like with us, it doesn't, like in a personal business, it doesn't matter as much. But if the check doesn't clear by the end of the year, it totally resets. So we got to redo it.
so it's in the correct budget year.
Did they buy the product?
That,
No, that's why they got to buy some more. They didn't get them.
They didn't get them.
We're $10,000 short. I mean,
So what it was.
Yeah, if you don't care, come up here so we'll have you on camera.
So what it was is we made a large purchase that included uniforms and bulletproof vests. The vests are what we did not receive. I ordered them probably about a month ago. After we ordered them, it takes a minimum of 120 days to receive them. The bill total was about $18,000. I have 2 deputy positions open. I may have 2 more open soon. They're $1,000 a piece. I have to purchase that for them.
yeah.
So.
but you did verify with the company that you did not receive it, and
Yes,
that
no,
part
I-
is settled. So they're not
yes.
going to come back in 6 months and say, "Oh, you got those." You
No,
don't have proof.
that part's settled.
Okay.
Like I said, when they asked for the proof of payment, I collected all that. I knew what we didn't receive.
Right.
They were just supposed to basically pay the portion of that to this new store that we're purchasing from, and that's when we realized the check never got cashed. If that makes sense.
Well, they're still cashing it and they're out of business.
No, they did not cash it. We thought that they did. We wrote it to them. We never realized they didn't cash it.
So where does that go back to the general fund?
Yes,
We'll put it out again.
it'll go back to them so they will be able to actually spend it.
Right, because it's already been appropriated to them once. Just coming back, circling again.
So we owe them the $4,100, right?
Oh, who? The 41.
Well, that company.
I mean, that.
So
How much was the appropriation for?
The 4,115.41?
Yeah.
No, we had more than that appropriated to it, but that's what they'd spent, that's what the check was for.
Yeah.
This is for the difference in what you didn't receive.
Right. So we were gonna have, like I said, the total was like almost $9,000 worth of credit. And then, like, they wrote it out of a couple different accounts. Some of it was out of ARP money. This check was out of our uniform allowance from last year. And that's a check that didn't get cashed.
Is that ARP money?
No, it was out of our budget.
Okay.
So like if our personal checkbook, we have it so we can see, they don't have the treasurer's checkbook to be able to reconcile to see if the check has went through. So that's kind of the delay, just because the county's big, and so then when they found out that it didn't get cashed, it just needs to be reissued. So no additional money.
It's essentially like a canceled check, like nothing got taken out.
Yeah, and in our office, we had already closed 2023, so we didn't know it hadn't been cashed. And then I think Missy voided it in 2024.
After the 6 months when it
Yeah.
was still daily check.
After we had already closed in our office the 2023 budget. It gets really confusing.
Yeah, like this $4,000 is gonna be in a 2023 carryover to 24, right? Because it wasn't cashed.
Well,
So it's in carryover from 23.
Right. Essentially. Which we'll take.
Any further discussion?
You did order the product that you needed,
Yes.
and this is what it cost?
No, it was about $18,000. It's just 4,000 of that we thought we already had paid last year, if that makes sense.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
I reckon. I don't get this.
2024 41.
41.
41. First time I've ever heard, I reckon.
That's the first time I've heard an I reckon. That'll work. Becky, you're up again.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to transfer and appropriate $663.13 into the county road budget number 2200-3009. Other professional services from the Solid Waste Fund number 3009-700-3009 and $1,025 into District Court Automation Fund number 3000-409-2024 maintenance and service contracts from the Tribal Fund number 1007-103-4004 District Court Server to correct miscoded claims and bills. Whereas a $663.13 bill was turned in on 9/12/2024 to be paid from the County Road Fund to Arkansas Cama Technology. And whereas this bill should have been paid from the Solid Waste Fund, and whereas a $1,025 bill was turned in to be paid from the District Court Automation Fund, number 3000-409-2024 to NUMSP, and whereas this bill should have been paid from the Tribal Fund, number 1000-103-4004 District Court Server, where it is previously appropriated. Now for be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $663.13 be transferred and appropriated from the Solid Waste Fund, number 3009-700-3009, other professional services to the County Road Fund, number 2200-3009, and Section 2, $1,025 be transferred and appropriated from the Tribal Fund, number 1007-103-4004, District Court Server to the District Court Automation Fund, number 3003-409-2024, maintenance and service contracts. I move we accept this.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yeah.
2024 42.
Thank you. Our next ordinance is sponsored by Nikki Brown. It's the additional ordinance approved on the agenda items.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance 23-54, the annual operating budget for 2024, to increase revenues and appropriate $12,000 into the Fund 1000-0122-3060 Utilities Electric and $1,000 into Fund 1000-0122-3062 Utilities Water. Whereas the utility bills paid to Petty Jean Electric have increased approximately 42% year-to-date, and whereas there was a leak at the North Annex, which has since been repaired, and whereas there is a need to appropriate the funds to pay the expenses. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that the amount of $13,000 shall be hereby appropriated as follows: $12,000 into account 1000-0122-3060 Utilities Electric, $1,000 into 1000-0122-3062 Utilities Water. I move we approve as written.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Questions or discussion?
Yeah, I got one. What is this whereas, that first whereas? Electric bills paid to Petty Jean Electric have increased 42%?
That is correct.
Over this year?
That is
So far this year?
correct.
Have you not looked at your electric bill?
Well, I knew it had gone up some, but
Oh, yeah.
Part of it is the underbilling, because when that got caught, we knew that some of our bills were going to double. And to be honest, I didn't catch the North Annex. Back when those were done, this building was one building, and it just, I missed that. So I take responsibility for that. Now, as far as the 42% as a county overall, I asked the clerk's office to run me a report, and I have a copy of that report if you'd like to look at it. Last year, year-to-date, and this year, year-to-date. And there is no internet or anything like that on it, and you're welcome to look at it. Last year, at this time, our electric bills consolidated.
you have a copy of that. I'd like to have it.
I'll give you this.
Okay.
We're $117,394.13. This year, year-to-date, they're $166,891. In some budgets, we have other line items that we can kind of absorb some added increase. Even though one line item may go up, we can cut back on others, but all we have in that budget is utilities. So it kind of caught up to us.
So this was without the multiplier. That 42% was after the multiplier was put on the bill, right?
I think that building, that's the only thing that I can reason with, is because
It's after the multiplier.
that bill went way up. And
Actually,
there's-
honestly, yeah, and we paid all that
Yeah.
3 years back, but
Right, and the consumption hasn't gone up that much, but
So this is our gift for giving him all that money we gave him, huh?
I guess so.
Gave it to Petty Jean.
I knew that was a bummer.
it's gonna get worse.
I went to Petty Jean.
Yeah, it's not gonna get any better.
Well, what was that roof? It's that roof was repaired out of which one, which fund?
The roof is a different issue, and we're not discussing that at this moment because we're
Well, it's on
discussing
here,
the
okay.
ordinance at hand.
It's on this right here.
No, it's a water leak.
Yeah, it's water.
Yeah, I said North End Edge water leak was repaired.
Oh, you said roof.
Well,
Not roof, not water coming through the roof, water up and out of the ground.
Yeah. We had,
I don't say that. I didn't know that.
I apologize, John. We had a leak over there, and you can't just stop everything going on over there until you get your leak fixed. So we couldn't just turn the water off. But by the time you call leak detection and you track down your leak and get it all fixed, it adds up.
Are you able to differentiate what is the North Annex in this versus the increase?
Yes, because it is on that list that he has.
I don't need to know right now, just for budget.
Sure.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I'm right. So this is just on, well, this is, I see what you're saying, Sarah. But yeah, we have to make sure that that is included.
If any of y'all wants a copy of that, we can get y'all a copy.
We'll probably need it.
Please. And it'll be good to have for the budget process.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Nikki?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
O 2024-43.
You say 43?
43.
Thank you. And our next item is a resolution. Nikki, would you care to read that by title only? Or is that, that's Mary Phillips, I'm sorry.
I beg your pardon.
I found all those 15 copies that I thought I'd handed out. They were in my packet, so when I flipped my page over, it was still the next Nikki ordinance.
Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution declaring and certifying local government support and endorsement of Paleo Valley LLC to participate in the tax back program as authorized by Arkansas Code 15-4-2706D of the Consolidated Incentive Act of 2003. Whereas in order
You
to...
don't have to read the rest of it if you don't want to.
Okay.
Okay, we can do this one by title only since it's a resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this resolution. What this does, we have to have a resolution on the books that we will send to Arkansas Economic Development, and they have to have our buy-in before the state incentives kick in for the new company. You know, we offered our tax abatements here, but it just a formality for the state to be able to do their part. Any more discussion?
Have you heard how they're doing over there with filling jobs and all that good stuff?
I have not. I have looked online, and the Clinton location is no longer listed, so I would assume they have plenty of applicants. Any further discussion? All in favor of approval of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
R 2024-11.
Thank you. And Sarah, would you care to read the next resolution by title only, please?
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, the resolution expressing the willingness of Van Buren County to utilize federal aid monies for the following project: Middle Fork Little Red River Bridge improvements on River Road, structure number 20045.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution. This is, as signified in the resolution, 90% federal share, 10% local share. Of that local share, 18% will be state money, and 2% would be county state aid money. It authorizes the feasibility study of a new bridge in Shirley. It would go around. It would be upstream or downstream, whatever they decide, the engineers decide, from the existing Shirley train bridge. The train bridge could be used for pedestrian traffic, pictures, whatever, and we could have a new path across there that is safe and fit for the future.
There was some question about that, with there being a structure number on here. They didn't know if it was for the train bridge itself, for repair on that, or if it would be for a new one.
It is for a new one. And this is through the Federal Infrastructure Act.
That's cool.
The value of that bridge is going to be probably $3 million. It's a very large, tall, it'll be 2 lanes. It'll be a very nice bridge.
They're gonna leave the old bridge over.
Correct.
Is that gonna be, did you say it'd be below, downstream from the
I
bridge?
think when you're driving up to the bridge, to my knowledge, it'll be to the left where the low water crossing was.
Right.
Right, it'll be there. The easements are already on the books, and that'd be a good place for it.
Yeah.
Did you say something about the structure itself being large?
The new bridge will be,
Do you have any idea? Will it be a low water bridge? Will it be
no, it'll be a big
the
bridge.
same height and all?
Correct, but there is a low water bridge underneath there that's kind of in terrible shape.
Yeah. That's what I wondered if it was going to be.
That's how we get our graders across there. We just drive right through the river.
Oh, wow, yeah.
No problem driving through it right now, probably.
Yeah. Good time to go grade River Road. Any more discussion? All in favor of approval of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? That takes us up to public comments, and we have a request. Oh, I'm sorry.
12, on 2024-12, sorry. I always forget the ordinance, or resolutions.
We have a public comment. If you'd like to come up to the microphone, please.
Hello, everyone. I've set some papers in front of you. I really just want to make aware those that haven't heard yet. Hope on the Mountain wants to launch a Dream Center in Clinton. We're in fundraising to buy a building at 674 Highway 65 Business right now. We have kind of a tight, it closes on the 31st. We're raising some money. We've already raised $25,000, and so we have to wrap the rest of it up. That's with prayer and lots of help. So I'm going to give you a little, just a quick understanding of what we do. So our vision is to team with individuals and businesses, ministries, so that we can impact our county kids, serve all 3 school districts from our county seat. This building would be a hub for that. We have some strategic partners that we're going to work with. We already have a licensed counselor. Anchored Consulting will be in-house with us. We'll have coaching and mentoring, licensed counseling. We're going to focus on career and financial prep so that when kids, especially those that have really grown up, we know that we're just on the news last week for rising child exploitation numbers. So we want to really come in and focus on intervention against drugs and child exploitation. And we're going to do this through offering these things at the Dream Center. And not just at the Dream Center, but being able to inspire a few of us, a handful of us, cannot go into every community. I'm from Crabtree. You know, I love Crabtree. I love Allred. I have just walked my little feet encouraging my neighbors, but y'all are in other communities in our county. And we really just want to fan the flame and really just inspire people to look. We've got kids around us that are growing up in very, very hard homes. And we need to be able to recognize when they need us to step in or intervene. And so that's really what it's about. We've had quite a few businesses in town already sign up for our shadowing program so that our kids, when we do get them involved, we go out there, we can then get them into being able to see different careers, see what causes our town to thrive. I'm trying to think of anything else. It is a short deadline, so my thing is if there is anything, I'm not asking for money from the county. I'm just asking to network with individuals, companies, churches that would be willing to come in and team with us. See this vision, and let's transform Van Buren County. Guys, there are a lot of hurting children and families that need us, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Hopefully soon we'll have another Quorum Court member appointed to fill our vacancy. We had some really good applicants that I know of who have applied at the governor's office, so it's all just waiting on her appointment. I always want to appreciate you guys, because the more I talk with other county judges and other counties, the more I appreciate you guys. So thank you for your dedication to the county. I always appreciate the way we have open discussion, and we can disagree fiercely at times, but when it's over, it's over. And you guys truly signify what a good governing legislative body should be, and I appreciate it and thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Any opposed? Adjourned. Thank you.